Why hello people of Bluudys Garage, my followers and my subscribers and everyone else. Welcome to the channel. So, I've decided I'm closing down my second channel, which is Tour Guide Reviews. Mainly because due to some changes with YouTube and stuff like that, I decided I want one channel. So, closing that one down because it's the smallest. It means I'm moving my reviews across onto this one, onto Bluudys Garage. So, some of you may have already seen the video, but with how many views that they had, you probably haven't. Don't know, maybe, I don't know. So I've done 2 car reviews so far, and I'm putting them on this channel now. There's some tool reviews, but let's be honest, they're a bit shit. So they're not coming on. No, they're definitely not coming on. Anyway, the first car review. I'm going to put up my, it's like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now. I can't remember when I actually did it. It is my Vauxhall Signum. I don't remember the reg. 2007. There was no 7 plate. 2007 Vauxhall Signum 1.9 CDTI. Yeah, which was the Elegance. Don't know. It's in the video anyway. So I'm going to put this bit of video in front of the other one. And it's the video that was on Tour Guide Reviews. But if you've not seen it before, fine. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy the review. Any comments, leave them below. I will be reviewing other cars. I'll be asking you guys to borrow your cars as well, if you wanna lend them to me. So without further ado, here is my review on 2007 Vauxhall Signum. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome everyone to my first ever car review. I've done lots when I've been with people, but I've never actually done anything proper. So this time I'm trying to make a proper car review. This week we're starting off on a 2007 Vauxhall Signum. We have the 1.9 CDTI diesel engine with 150 brake horsepower. So I'm going to try and give it my best review, answer any possible questions that people may ask in the video, so you don't have to ask them afterwards. That's the whole purpose of my review, to be fair. So we're gonna have a look at it, how reliable it is, how the performance of it, all that business. So without further ado, let's show you the car that I'm driving. So as you can see, we have a blue 2007 Vauxhall Signum. For those of you that don't know what the Signum is, or was, because obviously it's not continued anymore, they finished in 2008, only ran for 5 years, 2003 to 2008. It is a front end of a Vauxhall Vectra, built on a Vauxhall Vectra estate chassis, but has the back end of whatever the Signum is. So the car is nice, long, huge. I will admit that it's massive. The inside is spectacularly big. So yeah, it's built on the Vauxhall estate chassis. Doesn't look like an estate really. It is and it isn't. As you can see in the video right now, it's classed as a hatch, but it's like an estate to look at. So I would. It's up to you. It's sold as a hatch, but it's just built on the Vectra estate body, so that makes it a really big hatchback. So back to me in the car. What we have is, as I said, we have the 1.9 CDTI engine, and what we're going to do is we're going to floor it. I've just joined onto a 60 road, so let's floor it because it's pretty peppy. 30, 40, change gear, 50 and 60. We've got the 6-speed manual gearbox, the M32. It does have issues, common known issues with the 6th gear not receiving oil, like in the VXR, but this one is particularly strong. Now the 1.9 150 engine itself does have quite a few common issues. It can have, the swirl flaps can go, the bar can drop off the top of the inlet manifold, so the swirl flaps no longer work, which means you can reduce your power down a bit, and obviously you lose a bit of miles per gallon. What are the common issues are they? You got your normal run-of-the-mill things like turbos and things like that can go, depending on obviously the mileage of the car. The one we're driving today has currently got 112,000 miles on it. Nothing, I can't fault the engine or the gearbox or anything at the moment. It has been relatively looked after, especially by its previous owner, probably more than me. So yeah, you can pick these cars up between, depending on the spec you want to go for now, between 500 and probably 2.5 grand. And that would be like the latest model with all the gadgets on it. This particular one comes with electric windows all round, which is nice, as well as sat-nav. Sat-nav's getting a bit old now because this car was built in 2007, so it's still got the maps on it from 2007, which, like most of the roads in the UK, would have had some sort of change or something happen on them in the last, how many years that is? What are we in, 2016, so the last 9 years. But for a 9-year-old car, it stood the test of time relatively okay. I will admit the looks are a bit, it doesn't do anything for me. But if you want a car that has legroom and is a motorway cruiser, this is the sort of thing that you want, to be fair, because it will just eat up the miles. It will return you 50 plus miles per gallon on the motorway, no issue at all, because obviously it's helped with its 6th gear. They do have different engines, obviously that miles per gallon and the performance figures can vary. So the lowest engine you can have in the Signum is a 1.8 petrol, which, to be fair, it will be a bit sluggish, and it's a big car to have a 1.8 petrol non-turbo. So I would try and avoid buying that one if you was looking at getting a Signum. But then you've got 2 litre diesels, 2 litre turbo petrols, you've got 2.2 litre petrols, and they go all the way up to, you've got a 2.8 turbo petrol, you've got a 3 litre V6 diesel, and you've got a 3.2 litre V6 petrol. The powerful one of those, I can't remember which one, I think it's the 2.8 turbo is the most powerful, and it's got about 250 brake horsepower, so it's no slouch, but the miles per gallon would be quite low, I imagine, on that, especially if you're utilising the power to what it could be. So let's have a quick look at the inside the car. So we have, as I said, we have the sat-nav, and I'll show you the sat-nav on the screen. All the electrics, we've got the leg room for, I'm 6'7", right, and I can't even have the chair all the way back in the front because even I feel like I can't reach the pedals. So for me to be able to boast that, I think that's a good thing on the Signum's behalf. But that doesn't mean, my partner, she's like 5'3", 5'2", and obviously she has this chair all the way forward. Yeah, she can fit in and she can drive this car, so you know, it does, a lot of different sized people can drive this. But if you're in the back and you've got someone as small as my missus driving, it's like being in a limo. There is that much room. I haven't been in a car, you got to be, in my eyes, you got to be looking at like a long wheelbase, like S-Class Merc or something like that, to have the same sort of legroom in the back as this has got. It's sold as a 5-seater, but realistically it's a 4-seater car because you would never want anyone to sit on that 5th seat. So what they've done is they've allowed that 5th seat to become like a console, so you can store your drinks. You've also got the flip down armrest, and in some models you can even have a plug-in fridge, which I do believe is an optional extra anyway, so you can probably have that in all models, to be fair. It just plugs into the cigarette lighter that's mounted in the back, and you can have a fridge. So I think that's pretty good going, to be fair. I don't know many cars that boast a fridge, especially from the range of, you know, a Vauxhall range. I don't know if any Fords have got any equivalents, but as cars go, I'm currently sat here at 70 mile an hour. The trip computer is saying I'm averaging, when it sorts itself out, 56, 57 miles per gallon. It just looks, if you want one of these cars to drive around, just eat up the miles, and you can chuck all the camping gear if you wanted to go away in the back, because the boot's huge, and it's got a very, very clever rear seat setup. Each seat is individual, so they can move backwards and forwards, as well as recline in the back, which is nice. And obviously you can move them forwards to give you more boot space if needs be, or you can push them back to give you more leg room, which is a very clever setup, and I think that, you know, I think that's very good. The boot alone, without having the seats forwards, is big, because as I've said, it's based on the Vectra estate. So when you push the seats forwards to give you that extra boot room, obviously it's massive, and then the seats if you wanted to, could fold flat anyway. And then it's huge. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely massive. You could happily just chuck an inflatable bed in there and sleep for the weekend. Just in the boot. You don't need a tent or anything. This shows you the staggerment of the chairs, and there's a button, and you slide them back, and ta-da! And there's a lever here that you can lift, and the seat drops flat. There's your armrest. This is also your flip over base. That makes you the seat just like that. Which flips back just like so. All the room in the world. So the interior of this car, it's drab, to be fair. It's based on the Vectra, and I never liked the Vectra's interior anyway. I mean, I've got a leather steering wheel, which is nice. I've got cloth interior, which, just like most cars, is cloth, but they are very comfortable. Don't get me wrong, the seats are very comfortable. They've got lumbar support in, you know, and they're quite adjustable. So, you know, it's a good tick there. What was I going to say about the interior? This is boring. There's nothing fancy about it. I mean, cars nowadays, if you look at some of the modern things, like, you know, like the Citroen DS3s, their interiors are, you know, are crazy and cool. But this is a 9-year-old car. The Citroen DS3 wasn't even thought of 9 years ago. So it is supposed to be like a luxury motorway mile cruncher, which I guess it is. But there's nothing special anyway. So that's the interior. As I've said, the looks on the outside, it's a Vectra on the front end. If you get a 2003 to about 2005 model, it's the pre-facelift one, and I think the headlights look shocking, and the car just looks ugly. Does look really ugly. We're happy to be driving in the facelift version, which is still quite drab, but it's a big improvement over the one before it. The headlights do look a bit better. Someone has decided to put angel headlights in this one, so they've modified it slightly. There's different headlights. I'm not sure if the wheels are standard or not, but they've got what I know as Astra twin top wheels, which you can see now in the video. But they haven't heavily modified it. They've installed cruise control, because apparently cruise control wasn't a standard feature on this one when it was released from the factory. So it's nice to have cruise control. The top spec, you can get the design model, which has full leather heated seats that'll have automatic wipers, automatic lights. That'll also have a sat nav. Other than that, I don't really know what other extra features it'll have over this one. And we're currently driving the exclusive. So there's not that much in it, to be fair. If you want a car with storage, there are better ones, but the glove box is quite big. We've got a multiple split armrest, which has got 2 storage compartments. Front doors have got storage compartments. Back of these seats have got storage compartments. That is it for inside the car. The boot is again huge, and then there's 2 little compartments on the left and on the right of the boot for like first aid kits, and you could stick emergency stuff in there. But there are cars with a lot more storage options. There is a little drop down one here for sunglasses, and that is it. Unfortunately, there is no more in this one. In terms of power, as I've said, this particular one's got 150 brake, and it can do 0 to 60 in about 10 seconds, which it's not going to set the world on fire, but it's not bad. It's not good from standing starts, but not a lot of diesels, unless they're highly tuned, are going to be good from standing starts. This one is better when you're going to overtake, so when you're going from like 40 to 70 and you're in 3rd gear, the torque there, you're right where you need to be on the rev range. That is what, that's what this car's for, overtaking and motorway mileage. I'm sat in 6th now, doing 70 mile an hour on cruise control at 2000 RPM, and if I put the foot down, it'd accelerate rather quickly. If I dropped it to 5th, obviously So servicing and reliability. So we've touched on a few issues that the engine can have, which unfortunately is across the Vauxhall range. It's not just specific to this car. They do have them issues on the Astras, on the Vectras, and in the vans, because the engine's shared across multiple platforms. The actual car itself, it's relatively good in terms of like bodywork and construction. It's not a problem. You're going to get your normal run-of-the-mill things like drop links, tyres, exhaust, things like that. But any major issues, there's nothing being reported that's constantly goes wrong on Signum. So for reliability, you know, it's spot on, to be fair. And when you go for servicing, because it's still a Vauxhall and it's still got this 1.9 engine on it, the servicing is really cheap. Now I do all the servicing myself, as some of you probably know, because obviously you know what I do. So I can get the service parts for this car for about 40 quid and service it myself. Go into a garage, you're probably looking about £140 because they'll chuck the labour on top, which isn't bad. You've got bigger bills, which would be like your timing belts and things like that, which will probably cost you about £350, something like that in a garage. Could be worse. I think that's relatively alright. These cars, they're good value for money, especially now. I mean, when they first came out, they didn't really sell well. There wasn't a very well marketed car, but now they're on the second-hand market, and obviously they're good 8 to 15 years old. 8 to 15 years old? 8 to 13 years old. Yeah, if you want something, like I said, it's big, economic, relatively quick depending on which engine you get, grab yourself a Signum and you won't go far wrong. So let's talk about modifications. Now, I love to modify cars. Anyone that knows me from my previous YouTube, well, not my previous, but my other YouTube channels knows that. So what can you do? So like we've discussed, we've got the 1.9 150 engine. The easiest and quickest things you can do for more power is a remap. You know, remap will see you to about 180, 100, maybe even 190 brake, depending on how your engine is. You can add bigger intercoolers. You could put a hybrid turbo on it, which has got a bigger impeller. That'll benefit you quite well. It'll benefit you a little bit. You can knock out the cat or stick a pre-cat on it, pre-cat decat. You could obviously upgrade the exhaust. You could stick a bigger diameter exhaust on it. You can remove some of the boxes if you want to make a bit of noise. You're not going to make a lot of noise, but you could make some noise. So what else? That's about it for engines, really. I mean, I don't really know what you can do in terms of bigger injectors, but if you add on everything I've just said, so hybrid turbo, intercooler, the exhaust, and a remap, you could probably see 210, maybe even 220 brake from the 150 16 valve, which I don't think is bad, to be fair. In terms of looks, there's not much you can do in terms of styling. You could probably stick like a Vectra VXR front bumper on it, but on the rear there's not a lot you can do. You could upgrade and stick the V6 exhaust system on the back, so you've got twin tailpipes. Wheels, obviously you can stick on anything you want, but I do quite like the twin top wheels that are on at the moment. And you can change the front lights. I don't even know if there's any lights for sale for the rear. Again, it wasn't a very well marketed car. And then you can change like interior lights. You could stick heated leather interior in it. There are mods you can do, it's just not a huge mod list, can I say. So to conclude my review, what can I say? What would I rate it? Out of 10, overall, the looks let it down quite a lot, to be fair, because I do think it's drab, even inside. So, bearing that in mind, I'd probably rate the car 6 out of 10. Like I said, you want to do a lot of miles and you want to chuck people in the back, it's perfect. But the looks and some of the power plants are a bit poor, to be fair. So for that reason, I rate it 6 out of 10. Would I own one? Well, I own this one. So that answers your question, to be fair. We can't always own cars that are 10 out of 10. And I do a lot of mileage for work anyway. So that's the reason why I have this car. So would I own one? Yes, I would. Would I recommend to others? I would. If you're looking for something that will return you decent miles per gallon and you're happy with the looks, then yeah, I'd recommend it. That's it. You know, there's no other way around it. So 6 out of 10. I'd recommend others to at least go and try them if you're looking for something. They are cheap now. and you could get a lot of fun out of it, and certainly a lot of use. So thank you very much for watching the review on the 2007 Vauxhall Signum. I hope that you managed to take away something from it that you maybe didn't know before. If you like the review, let me know. If there's anything I've missed out and you'd like me to add into more reviews, please let me know. I'm also looking out for more cars to review on. Some of you have already come forward and offered them. So thank you very much. Please like and subscribe and share my review channels and page with all of your other friends. It's greatly appreciated. So I hope you enjoyed that review on the Signum. I did do it like 1.5 to 2 years ago. Can't remember, it might be a little bit more now. Hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Obviously that was my first review of a car I've ever done. Like I said at the start of this video, this was on my other channel. I've moved it across onto this channel now, so that's where we're at. So thank you very, very, very much for watching. I hope you've left it a like. I hope you've subscribed as well as, and I will see you in another video or another review. Thank you very much. Peace, guys. Peace.